Um, let's talk about Totoy ACUNO, my maestro from San Antonio. Maestro Totoy ACUNO is one of the maestro that I learned from 1978, even 77. But I remember 78, came down from San Antonio and joined the tournament that year. He asked about my dad blessing and asked for my dad if he could coach him a little bit. So my dad pulled out two brookil, and that's the time that they start demonstrating some of the technique in the back of our house. Then I was introduced. He fought that day. He won, and then I start learning from him ever since. He learned from three maestro, according to him, when I was learning from him. His major maestro is Pedro Agana, which is learned from Maestro Pedro Acidillo, which is their cousin, because the Maestro Totoy ACUNO is also an Acidillo clan, like Maestro Pedro Agana is also middle name is Acidillo. So he learned from them, and he learned from Maestro Totoy ACUNO also learned from Maestro Tomas Villegas, which is relatives of my, I just found out that is a relative of my family, to my mother's side. My mother's mother is Maria Villegas. So that just has to learn that they're relatives. But anyway, I never have a chance to study under him because I met the old man after not knowing that he's the Tomas Villegas, that Maestro Totoy ACUNO I was talking about. Yeah. He also learned from another person, Eduardo Peñalosa from Maliliit na Bato. I think that Peñalosa is from Bicol region. He just moved to Laguna. So his style is, different than any Arnis style that he learned. And I said that Eduardo Peñalosa is very good fighter. Maestro Totoy ACUNO worked in the Bureau of Forestry in the Philippines at that time, so he met so many people in the mountain that used to serve in the guerrilla movement, and fought Japanese during World War II, or even people that led the guerrilla movement, so he's really, really well embraced by the guerrilla, the veterans, group. Since his work as a forestry in the mountain, one thing that hit me when I was learning to Maestro, he said that during his training, he only learned two strike and two step for a year or so, from Maestro Pedro Agana. He said learn from Buhat Araw and Tagang Talahib, which is strike to the high and strike to low. And you can reverse that because he said that you can do mirror, to reverse on this other one. So that's what he said. He said for a year, that's what he only teaching me, 1 and 2. And he said if I effectively use the 1 and 2 to sparring, then he would add probably 1 more strike. And to complete the art is 7 strike. Don't get me wrong, he gave me many ideas how to drill that 1 and 2. It's beautiful way of simplifying the art of teaching, and very smart person, very educated the way he approached teaching. It's not like a lot of my maestro that really there. I'm not saying they're not educated, because most of them really don't maybe hit higher than fourth grades, fifth grades, like my dad. Because when the war broke out, their schooling stopped, and when the war stopped, they don't go back to school already. So their schooling end whatever the war start. So it's not because they cannot afford it. It's just embarrassed to go back to school and join a little kid while they're all adult, you know, in the elementary school. You know, some kind of what happened to my mother too. And you know, so my mother is only first grade, my father is fourth grade, you know. And after that, war broke out, and they don't went to school after the war because it's 5 years later. They're adult. They go to the school. They're joining a little kids, you know. So that's kind of thing. But anyway, he suggested to me that whatever I learned from the past is put it aside. Learn and stick to 1 and 2 strike that he's teaching me. You know, he's very, very simple. He wants me to really focus only on that 2 strike. And that 2 strike, answer to all of the strike, answer all to all of the movement that your opponent's gonna do. Why? He said, it's better to know a minimal technique than you have 1,000 and you cannot use it. So you have 2, but you can use it effectively. It's better to have 1,000 technique that you cannot use it. So that makes sense to me. So testing part, after 1 year and a half, he will always invite another, you know, player from side of Lumban, side of Kalayaan, and side of San Antonio. You know, they will invite one, and we will meet on the place where we will meet in the mountain, you know, which is between Paete and San Antonio, right there by Uugong part, you know. And he will start telling me that, hey, your lesson today is sparring. And that's the time that you have to check if what you learn from me is work. And then after the sparring, he would tell me that I did very well. For the past 2 sparring that I did to the people that he brought, he said that I still control myself. He said you don't want to control yourself. Why? Because if you really go to a real fight and you know that's what your intention, you don't want to hurt people. You're here to learn to hurt people, and therefore you have to hurt them if you can. You know, because it's your responsibility to defend and their responsibility to defend also. So both of you is only thinking the same, winning, and that's what I think. So the main thing that he wants me to do is make sure that I win the fight. Yeah, so I was thinking about that, and then I said, man, but Maestro, they're a friend of yours. My Maestro said that, no, even to me, when you spar with me, I don't want you to hold. And that's exactly what happened. Well, after a few years of me training under him, I gained so much knowledge. I completed the 7 strike, you know, and all of the minor that he wanted me to learn. Even some empty hand that, you know, he never really shared it to others. He shared it to me. And that's my honor. One day, back in 1985 or 86, he disappeared. Nobody can find him. We don't know if he's taken by the NPA or he was abducted by the military. But the news, the people was talking about that he was abducted by New People's Army, the Communist Party of the Philippines. Maybe because he is a government employee or Bureau of Forestry. You know, I don't know what he did wrong, why he's being adopted and he disappeared. So my trainings end there. But I continues training But the material was given to me. All in all, whatever I learned to Maestro Totoy ACUNO, I keep it pure and simple. And I want to start teaching that to all of the interested people. In fact, I made a private Facebook for the Totoy ACUNO's art. So if you're interested, let me know and I put the basic pamamaltasia and abecedario. Oh, I don't think I put pamamaltasia. I put the basic abecedario there. Yeah, I'll have to visit that. But anyway, I'm home. I'm done walking. I want to make sure that I have some topic to talk about before I ended up home. All right, this is Gat Puno Abon saying goodbye. The topic is Maestro Totoy ACUNO and how my training under him went. Pugay.